All right, what's going on? It's the Red Tiger Goddess from Sisters with Pool on Thursdays. And Sisters with Pool on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out. Tell your friends. Um, we're also on YouTube. Sisters with Pool, SISTAS with WIT, Pool, PULL. And yeah, I just decided to jump on here, see how you guys were doing. Doing a 3 card donation pool for, a little bit. Hey, Sonny, what's going on? Good to see you. It doesn't feel the same without the two goddesses, but it's good to see you. Just looking at me. Um, so I hope everybody's week has been going all right so far. Mine has been going all right so far. Got some things to learn, but learning something new every day. So let me just make sure. All right. So if anybody has anything they want to talk about, just let me know. If not, I'll be here chilling, seeing if somebody wants to go ahead and get a reading. And I also thought about just the fact that I guess a lot of people, what's going on? I'm not sure who that is on YouTube. I don't have it up, but whoever it is, thank you. Thank all of you guys for your support. We really appreciate it. So I was just thinking last week, we had the show and just, we talk about stuff that's kind of deep, you know what I mean? And I think that is just you guys have helped me kind of, it may not seem like it, but open up a little bit. Not to say that I'm not open, but in this venue with people that I don't really know, that's not my, I guess, MO unless I'm out hanging out. But it's been a pleasurable experience. And honestly, I like that we're opening up because I feel like, we can kind of squash some stuff together. We can get rid of some common problems that we all have, some things that we're all facing just with dialogue, some things that, people have been through that just you never even were raised to talk about or raised to kind of like, we got to keep everything to ourselves, and that's not anybody's business, and family business and family business, and relationship business. And I agree with it to an extent, but I do think that, or I do know that it also can keep us repeating patterns that are not healthy from generation to generation simply due to silence. So I think, I just want to let everybody know I appreciate the stuff that you share with us, and, try to get into maybe sharing a little bit more with you guys. But I'm getting there. So, but with that said, I thought about, like, some people may, not trying to demonize anybody's parents or anything, but may not have had the nicest parents, maybe going through stuff with their parents. So then it dawned on me, I was like, okay, I got this book right here, right? It's called You're Here for a Reason, and it's by Nancy Tillman. And, I said, well, out of 1,400 people, and however many people on YouTube that'll be watching this in the future, there's a chance that, hey, maybe you didn't get, nobody read your kid's book, when you're a kid. Maybe nobody read to you before you went to sleep. So I'm going to read a book until somebody comes on asking for a donation. So I'll read you your bedtime story. So put your pajamas on. I guess you get your warm milk or your warm red wine, which is not what I'm drinking, but I am drinking a little bit of wine. I don't know if I'll have any left for Thursday, but peace. So I got some warm water too. Ugh. Anyway, all right. So for those of you who haven't been read to, I'm gonna read to you. And for those hey, Can't see. Oh, Destiny. Hey, Destiny. So I'm going to read a book until anybody wants a donation pool. So again, this is You're Here for a Reason. All right. By Nancy Tillman. Get comfortable. You're here for a reason. You certainly are. The world would be different without you by far. If not for your hands and your eyes and your feet, the world like a puzzle would be incomplete. It's going to be kind of backwards with the book, but you get the idea. Even the smallest of things that you do blossom and multiply far beyond you. A kindness, for instance, may triple for days or set things in motion in different ways. True. Yes, we're having story time for people who never got read a story or just like to hear a story. And donation pool time. It travels much further than you'll ever know under the treetops. Over the snow. Till it's wandered. And fluttered. And floated. And twirled, making things happen all over the world, which is the truth. You're here for a reason. It's totally true. You're part of a world that is counting on you. So don't be too worried if some days fall flat. Good things can happen even from that. Definitely true. Life can be tricky. There isn't a doubt. You'll skin your knees trying to figure it out. But life works together, the good and the bad, the silly and the awful, and happy and sad. To paint a big picture we can't always see, a picture that needs you most definitely. Remember that next time a day goes all wrong, to somebody else you will always be strong. Peace, King. And that ball that you lose or that kite you let go could make someone's day. You just never know. You're here for a reason. If you think you're not, I would just say that perhaps you forgot. A piece of the world that is precious and dear would surely be missing if you weren't here. If not for your smile and your laugh and your heart, this place we call home would be minus a part. Thank goodness you're here. Thank goodness times two. I just can't imagine a world without you. So, again, that book was, oh, I'm sorry, You Are Loved. That's what it says, and that's what it means. And so that book was called You're Here for a Reason by Nancy Tillman. It's a pretty deep book. And I just wanted to read it to you guys. Good. I just wanted to read it to you guys because, like I said, I don't always stop and think about, like sometimes things that people didn't have that I had. I mean, I was read a lot of books to the point of where I was memorizing them. And so even if you're supposedly grown, I just wanted to kind of read your little story and remind you that, you are here for a reason. And, parents are people and they lose track of stuff. They're just very human. And, it's unfortunate some of the things that get, that fall through the cracks. I guess I'll say it like that. But I just wanted to, read your book and let you know that, like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. There are people that think about you, and, you're going to win. You just have to learn some stuff and just let that, oh, you're welcome. Just, I don't know. You just deserve it. You're here for a reason, all of you. And, maybe from time to time, I can read a book if you ain't never had a book read to you. Oh, yes, of course. It's most certainly true because, what we have to remember is, we did sign up to learn some things. And I'm realizing because I'm learning a lot of things and a lot of self reflection. And just what people think of us is really just none of our business, especially when it comes to the negative. Even when it comes to the positive, sometimes it's like we first have to be good with ourselves. And then, if you want to say something positive, great. That's a compliment. That's something to add to what I already have going on. But what I'm working on is just trying to build up, myself to such a degree where it's like, okay, like I don't need it for validation or to feel, good that I already have that. And then that's just icing on top of that. But anyway, so all of my young people on here just wanted to get your story time in because I do feel like that's important. I like being read to. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 80 years old. I'll read your bedtime story. It's all right, especially if you ain't never had one. But so I took me a spiritual bath today. It's actually kind of nice. I'm not really like a bath person, but I'm starting to kind of get into it. The first one was relaxing but kind of dangerous. Um, you know, and Queen, you most certainly are here for a reason. And just to let you know, no matter any darkness that you may have in your days, when we get together for Sisters with Pool, and I like seeing new names. I like seeing the consistent names, and it's a different kind of light when you come in the room, and it's very much appreciated and very much seen. So know that. So anybody who has anything different to say that's not constructive, that really is completely about them and not about you. So, but this spiritual bath, I did a better job this time. The last time I put too much oil in there, it was like Exxon Valdez. So then I had like a hard time getting out and almost burned a towel a little bit on a candle. And yeah, I had some other things happen. It was just kind of crazy. This one was pretty cool. I felt like a lot of spirit and energy in the room. So that was pretty cool, pretty cold. And so but this time I guess the only thing that kind of went, I don't know if it went wrong or not, is this girl had given me like, I thought she said it was some kind of crystal or some kind of Himalayan or something. So maybe it was supposed to melt. All I know is I put it in the bath, and by the time the bath was over, that thing was gone. So hopefully it was supposed to melt because it definitely did. I kind of like reading books to y'all now. I wish I had brought another book over here. But I got some Shakespeare over there, but I'm not reading that. So the other thing I'm working on is just trying to not just manifest stuff more so that it'll show up, but just manifest stuff more, like speak it out loud more so that I'm actually held accountable to do it. Because, one thing that I think it also comes with manifestation is the more that you're speaking it, the more that you have, if you're speaking it to people who do hold you accountable, or at least going to remind you of something that you said you were going to do, then the next thing you know, it is turning into action, because you kind of have two choices: either to just be like, well, I keep talking about whatever, I'm going to, move to another place within a year, but, I'm not saying it to anybody. So what happens when that year is done? Then I still haven't moved, and, I'm in the same space I was in before. Whereas if I'm writing it down, I'm speaking it, at least then I can have people that are going to be like, well, did you find a place yet? What's going on with that? Like, when are you moving? Or have you checked that over here? And next thing you know, it's just something that you're constantly talking about, thinking about. People are reminding you about it. You call some places, maybe leave your phone number or however that works. And, you're just kind of immersing yourself in whatever it is that you're supposed to do. So I'm going to try to start getting better with that. Just really jumping into whatever it is I feel like I want or I'm supposed to do. Just kind of putting in the work, which is not always easy. It's just, it's not always the easy thing to do, because life is life. And sometimes we get into these, schedules that aren't schedules, or schedules of giving everybody else all of our energy and what we got. But it's time to really just make that time, force yourself, if it's a different space, whatever it is, to just actually do what it is that you're supposed to do. Because really, I mean, what else are we here for? You spend so much of your life working for somebody else, fighting for what is yours, rightfully so, just being a child of God, and it's like, why am I working for somebody else? Why am I giving them all of that? Because what they do is, we have these big corporations that get together and say, well, we want to make this much profit, and we're going to pay you this much. And then we hope that you're scared enough that you will stay working for us forever. You'll never do anything for yourself. And it is a scary thing, depending on how you've been raised and what you've been told. I had often times where I couldn't even leave a job without having another job. This time it's a little bit different, but it's like, even doing this video, like, I like doing the Sisters with Pool, because I can see them, and they're okay. You're welcome. By Destiny. But it's like, even with this video, like, is it something that I necessarily wanted to do? No. You know what I mean? I did really want to read the book, and that's kind of what I focused on. I mean, and yes, I want to do readings because it makes me feel good when you guys kind of are reconnected to your path. You know what you're doing. You're focused. It gives you, I don't know, I feel like after a reading, even if I'm doing one for myself, like, it still gives you this renewed sense of, like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, like, I can do it. And I'm glad that we have a group like this, because I just want everybody to be, like, positive and hopeful. And I'm not saying you can't have bad days, but I just don't want anybody to stay there. I know what those days are like. I know when you have those days where it's just like, God is there, angels are there, spirit is there, but it's just still something like, you just don't necessarily want to be here. You know what I mean? You just, whatever the case may be, all the different things that we, the real things that we deal with, and some of the things that we make up in our heads. But, just, I don't know. I really like this group. I like the positivity. I like the, like, cohesiveness. I like that I see some new people starting to react to things and make some comments, and hopefully everybody will get to a point where they feel like, they can share a piece of them on there, because I learned from a trip that I took to Siler City. I mean, Siler City is just Siler City, but these people had like tons of woods and they lived in a cabin, and it was the best. I mean, it was the best, because it was just like when you just get your signal clear with the nature or music or whatever it is for you, like there's just no better feeling than like connecting to yourself. Like a lot of times, many of us, we don't want to be alone, or we don't want to be by ourselves, but is it really that or we want that distraction, or we don't want to think about whatever it is that we're thinking about? But it's time to kind of jump into that. It's time to kind of like, let me get rid of these distractions. Like I had a long time where, I was just constantly going from distraction to distraction to distraction to distraction. Like anything I could be doing to not be thinking about whatever it is that I didn't want to think about, or to not really be alone with my thoughts. And now it's just like, all I want to do is be alone with my thoughts. Like I still enjoy people. I have acquaintances, friends, whatever, but having my own, like, just me time, I guess, or just my own signal that's just like, I am it's just like, it's such a good feeling. So, I hope that you all get to a point where, you feel like, like maybe not necessarily that you want to be by yourself all day, but that you like being with yourself. And that really is like a growth kind of thing, unless you're taught that from an early age, which I was not. But and I think that's sometimes why I chase it so much, is like, I always want to be doing something, or doing something with somebody, or just whatever. And now I'm just kind of like, no, I don't. Like, I want to just want to be. I just want to focus on my own breath. You know what I mean? I just want to just be at peace with myself completely, so that then, when somebody comes along and maybe that's a relationship, then it's just like, I already have my own peace, you got your own peace, and we could be the peace together. You know what I mean? And then sometimes we can, go do our own thing, or whatever the case may be, separately. But like, I'm not dependent. You're not what's making me be okay with me. I'm okay with me. And sometimes we think we're okay with ourselves, and we find out, or there's things in our behaviors that we realize, like, nah, not really. I thought I was totally like, no, people had these holes they want to fill up, and filling it up with this and that and this. And I was like, oh no, that's not me. I don't fill up no holes with nothing. But good old spiritual awakening and good old spirit, like, you sure about that? Because I was way more judgmental than I am now. I'm getting rid of that. But yeah, they hit me over the head with it. Like, I was pretty much trying to use other people to try to fill me up, and then getting mad when people would fall short, which they're always going to do, because one, other people are not supposed to be filling you up. They're supposed to add to what you got going on. So if you empty, then they're undertaking a task that is just, it's like you're setting them up for failure and yourself, because you're always going to be kind of disappointed when they don't do what you want them to do, when they don't act how you want them to act, whatever the case may be. So it's really important to kind of get that fixed, and change your mindset, and realize it's not people's job to make me feel good. It's my job to make me feel good. And I had heard that many times. Not people telling me directly, but just watching Will Smith or whoever. But sometimes you hear stuff over and over again, and it just doesn't click. It just doesn't click until it clicks, and now it's clicked. So I have to do things that I like to do. And I hope you guys find something that you like to do and do it this week. And then I hope you guys do something that maybe you would normally do and you do it this week. If you go into a restaurant, you normally get the chicken quesadilla like I used to do all the time. And there's something on there that you know you'll eat, but I'm not sure if I like it. Try it. Like raise your vibration. But the Siler City thing, back to that, it was awesome. It was nature. It was cabin. I like barely looked at my phone. I wouldn't have looked at it at all. Just clear signal, and being with people who were like, one, I loved the way they loved each other. It was a couple. And I knew them when they met each other, like 10 years ago. So who knew, right? So they're still together, couple kids and whatnot. But I loved the way they loved each other. Like, I hope that one day, he actually does, I think he's Leroy's Wooden Tattoos. He actually he makes skull rings. He's a great artist. Jason Momoa ended up buying one of his rings and then gifting it to Lenny Kravitz and all this other stuff. So, he's getting a little bit more notoriety, I guess. Not just from that though. He really is he's a cool dude. So I think he's Leroy's Wooden Tattoos on Instagram. And so he makes rings, he makes bottle openers now. I think he's gonna be having hats, just really laid back, really cool. But man, this dude, like, his wife walks away and he's like just going on and on about her, like how great she is and all this stuff. But it's like the feeling of it was so different because there's people that like I hang around with right now that their version of love just looks so different. And it was just so refreshing to be out in like this place of nature and like this, you never know. I mean, I don't know for sure, but the way that they expressed the love for each other was just like, it's beautiful. I mean, he was talking about how like they both were like, well, we feel like we love each other more now. So like y'all been together 10 years and, people would say, oh, it's going to get stale or whatever. But their love is actually growing. And that's something I want you guys to like understand. And love actually is supposed to grow, and if love is right and it's under the right, parameters, and you guys are like ebb and flow, kind of thing, and not anybody having too much pride, just trying to meet each other in the middle on both sides. Like, love is, when it's right, it grows. When it's right, it grows. So when you're planting those little seeds for your little love and all that, and then you're loving on yourself, and then you can love somebody else, like, just remember, love is something that is supposed to grow. And definitely love is not anything that's supposed to make anybody shrink. So if you're in a relationship right now that is making you shrink or is making you feel some kind of way, that's probably not love. And I would say get out of that, because a lot of people think that love is something that's supposed to hurt, or the examples you've seen of love or whatever. But whenever I'm around like a couple that really has that real love, like, it just literally radiates to me and like makes me believe in something that I think I had forgotten about. Because like these two, I mean, I was quite impressed. 10 years, and you still looking at each other like that, but maybe even in a different way, because you're like both growing. Like I don't know. I don't even have the words for it, but that was amazing. And for what I saw, I wish everybody in this group and anybody that sees this video that kind of love. Like, if we can all kind of like interact with anybody, I don't care who it is. That stuff doesn't, whatever, whoever you're loving, I don't care. Just as long as it's real, as long as it's something that you feel like, we're sowing these seeds and we're growing together. Like, this love is just getting stronger and stronger like that. I want that for everybody. That's like, whew, that's nice. So, probably maybe about 15 more minutes or so. See if anybody wants a donation reading, 3-card pull. But yeah, that was a much needed trip, and I was thankful for it, and I'm gonna definitely do that more often. So that's cool. I also wanted to say that anytime that you know somebody that's in if they're in a bad relationship, just remember, like, because I kind of had to remind myself of this, because I do have a buddy that I don't, their relationship. I mean, I got a few buddies that I mean, relationships leave a lot to be desired. And I would just say that I have to remind myself that, that person that they're dating that I don't like is not my actual enemy. That my actual enemy is the poor self-esteem of, my buddy that's in that relationship. Because at the end of the day, even if I got rid of, not got rid of, but like, even if I convinced a friend, like, hey, don't be in this relationship, like, they're still, if they're attracting something that's not for them, or they're attracting something that's toxic, they're still going to attract that same toxicity, like, with the next partner. Maybe not to the same degree, but it's still going to be some mess. So the best thing that I need to remember to focus on is not, on my disgust for the person that they're dating, but basically just making sure that, hey, whatever it is that they're lacking in themselves or don't know, that whenever I can, I let them know, hey, you're great, or at least that you don't deserve these things, or build them up, because there's something definitely missing when you feel like it is okay for you to be mistreated, like that mistreatment that just, the one that has you crying, 4 out of 5 days, the one that has you wondering what they're doing, tracking them, trying to see what's going, like, to me, in a relationship, if you can't be transparent, there should be one reason you're not transparent, and that's because you're throwing me a surprise birthday party. Other than that, like, I feel like, don't hide anything from me. If there's certain things I want in a relationship, so if I want integrity in a relationship and I'm being integral and I'm, being transparent, and you're not, I don't have time to be tracking you and chasing you. I'm just gonna be like, well, this isn't serving me, so I got to go. Like, because I don't want to make my life miserable from, worrying about you being sick because I don't know what he's doing, what's going on, whatever, you know. Um, and I don't want to make you miserable, because if you feel the need to do all that, then I don't know. Are we attracted because we're both insecure? Because you're insecure, so you got to sleep with a bunch of women, and I'm insecure, so I got to keep tracking you. I mean, I don't know, no, because I'm gonna make your life probably miserable tracking you, and you're gonna make my life miserable because I'm tracking you. So just situations like that, like, I hope in this season you guys just say, I don't care what your gender is, because I mean that goes every which way, and I don't care who you're dating. Um, but just say no more. I mean, no more. Just not anymore. Because the way that I see it is this: if you owned a restaurant and you had a sign on the window that says, no shoes, no shirt, no service, and you let somebody come in there with no shirt, and like, hey, yo, I told you no shirt, no service, so you gotta go. And they say, well, come on, just let me, this one time, blah, 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 give you some la-di-da-di-da story. So you serve them. All right, cool. So the next time, they're going to come back with no shirt, no shoes. Well, come on, man. I told you about the no shirt. Now you come up with no shoes too. Well, yeah, la, 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 I love it here. I love it. Your pizza's the best pizza, whatever. Like, just come on, please. Like, it won't happen again. It won't happen again. All right, fine. I'll serve you. Serve them and go on about the business. come back. No shirt, no shoes, no pants. You understand what I'm saying? You are you like treat yourself like you are your own restaurant with standards. If you have a certain standard, you have to stick to it, even when it hurts, even when you want to give somebody a break. Because, like, sometimes it's not easy for all of us to set boundaries and standards. Some of us have really never seen that before. But the only way you can change this generational mess is by saying, you know what, like, it's hard, but if my sign says no shoes, no shirt, no service, no pants, whatever, then I have to stick to it, because it's my fault then if I start having a bunch of people keep showing up inside my restaurant with no shirts, no shoes, and no pants. And it's my fault. It's my fault because I've decided that, okay, I'm going to let this person get away with disrespecting my standards over and over and over again. And to the point where now I hate you. I hate seeing you even come to my door. But why? It's not because you tried it. You know what I mean? It's not because you came with no shirt. I mean, might blame you, but really at the end of the day, it's my door. It's my restaurant. So it's really my fault if I let you come in there multiple times disrespecting me and I still served you. It doesn't serve you. So with that being said, I'm probably going to close out here soon. But just treat yourself like a restaurant. Whatever that sign says on the door. So if you are dating some girl and your standard is that you don't deal with cheating, just realize that after a certain amount of times, your standard on your door don't mean nothing, because people know that they could just keep doing whatever, and you're going to keep forgiving and taking them back, and to the point where you've done it so many times that you absolutely hate and got to ban that person because they done this too many times. It's not their fault. It's your fault. But the good thing is, if it's your fault, that means you also can do something about it. And if you do decide to stick with the standard that's on your door of your restaurant, then you're going to get what you want. If you believe that you deserve it, if you believe you made that standard for a good reason and that it needs to be followed and that it needs to be honored, then it will be. But that you control the doors. So it's up to you. You have to be strong enough to stick to your own standard, because when you let people start coming in and out of your restaurant disrespecting your standard and you keep letting them get away with it, then you kind of it's gonna cause a problem within you. It's not gonna make you happy. You came up with that standard for a reason. It's something you didn't want. I don't want people with no shirts in my restaurant. If I start letting people with no shirts in my restaurant, guess what? More people with no shirts are gonna show up in my restaurant, just like anything else. So just watch that. Treat yourself like a business. I have certain standards, and I'm not oscillating on that, and I'm not lowering them. Now maybe if your rule is I'll let somebody get away with something, once or twice. If that's you, then fine. But you got to stick to that once or twice, because if you get to 5 or 6, by then you're running on fumes. By then you have hatred for this other person, but it's really for you, because you're the one that kept letting them do and do and do and do, and kind of put you in a space where you didn't belong, all because you lowered your own standards. Lowering your standards are really never, I don't see how it ever leads to something good. And lastly, going based off of that same restaurant example, you ever see like a trashy street or a trashy, I'll say even a trashy bathroom, either one. One of the things is, if I'm walking on a street that's full of trash and I drop a piece, I'm not very likely to pick up that trash from a street that's riddled with trash. I should, you know what I mean? But there's going to be so many reasons why I won't. I don't want to touch the other trash accidentally. There's so much of it, like, I feel bad, but I'm just not doing it. But when you got a clean, pristine street and you drop some trash on there, it's almost like, oh shoot. And immediately you're gonna pick it up. So that's us too. You know what I mean? Like a trashy street almost attracts, like maybe not almost, it does attract more trash. You know, a clean street is gonna attract, people cleaning it up. Like, okay, that's easy to clean. It's already mostly clean. Let me just pick that up. You know what I mean? And we're like that too. Make sure that you're not feeling like trash on the inside, because you most certainly will attract trash. And that's not, I'm not demonizing anybody. I'm not saying anybody is literally trash, but you know what I mean. Those days that you might feel like garbage on the inside, or you feel like you're not good enough, or that's what you're telling yourself because that's what you've been told by grandparents, parents, whoever the case may be, whoever it was for you, that now you just continually feed into that, believe it, operate out of that. If you feel like trash on the inside, just like that trashy street, people are not really going to care when they disrespect you quite as much. And that's why sometimes people that feel so bad on the inside about themselves, anytime they feel disrespected, it's like they're ready to fight, because they got to prove that, no, you ain't getting away with this, because you don't have so much trash thrown at you in your life, like you just trash. So the next time somebody ready to throw some trash and you can do something about it, you're ready to knock somebody out. Clean up your own street. And that's me too. Make sure that in your quiet space, you're not feeling like garbage. Because I promise you, whether you think you're hiding that stuff well or not, whether you think that you're not saying it verbally to anybody, when it comes to attraction, just like molesters and groomers, just like bullies and those who get bullied, if you are bullying yourself in your quiet space, if you are treating yourself like trash in your quiet space, that person that also feels like trash, but maybe is a little bit more aggressive, will find you. And they won't feel bad about treating you the way that you already, what you already think that you are. So just try to make sure that you keep your street clean. And your street is your mind. Don't fill it with a bunch of trash. Don't be telling yourself that you're not good enough. Don't keep playing and replaying something nasty that somebody done said to you. Even if it was legitimate, what difference, like let that be something that just passes through. Either change whatever you need to change or whatever, but there's no reason for anybody to be holding on to any negativity about yourself, because it's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to serve you. Even if you did something very bad, holding on to that guilt is not even going to serve you. Okay, this is time for going up, lifting up, moving on, moving forward. So in this season, keep your standards, set them like you were a business. Understand that just like a business, if I lower my standard, I'm going to get clientele and clients and customers that I do not want. And that's why I made the standard in the first place. If your mind is going to be like a trashy road, understand that you're going to attract more trash to it. It's easy to do. And you know what? Even if somebody loves you, they are not going to feel bad about treating you as such, as what you think you really are in your quiet space. Keep your mind, your body, your soul, and how you feel like you need to be treated clean, like a clean street. So that when somebody offends you, or when somebody messes over you, or maybe they do cheat on you one time, you can tell that they like react to it differently. It's not 6, 7 times. It's they did that one thing and maybe you can work with that. No, not me. That's not my thing. I don't believe in making people's lives miserable because you cheated on me, because that's probably not going to work. But to each his own. So just the understanding is that the cleaner that I keep my mind, like a clean street or a clean house, where people kind of afraid, unless it's a kid, to dirty it up. Like I need to be like that about myself. Set my standards and keep my ideas about myself positive, even when I don't believe it, so that I can attract somebody that is going to really feel like they want to do everything in their power not to violate me, you know, not to violate my sensibilities, not to violate my mental, not to violate my emotions, not to violate, you know, my spirit. Those core things. I'm not talking about somebody that maybe didn't wash the dishes or whatever. I'm talking about these serious things. So keep your standard high, keep your street clean, and go ahead out in this world and attract everything that you deserve. Ashe. So, unless somebody has anything they wanted to talk about, if you missed the book that I read, it was at the beginning, and she actually has other good books, but I haven't gotten them. But they actually look pretty deep and kind of spiritual. So, like, I actually kind of like it. Her name's Nancy Tillman, and she has a book called On the Night You Were Born. So maybe somewhere down the road. I mean, this book was only $5 from Kohl's, but somewhere down the road, hopefully, I can get some of the other books. Because On the Night You Were Born, Nancy Tillman. I'd Know You Anywhere, my love, Nancy Tillman. And Wherever You Are, my love will find you, Nancy Tillman. So I think she's even got some more than that, but that is pretty cool. I think I'm going to be closing out here soon, but thanks everybody for that, people that came and said hey, and you know, the people who will watch this later. But I hope you guys have a great week. We will see you Thursday, Sisters with Pool on YouTube and in the private group for Facebook at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And please remember to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for Sisters with Pool. SISTASWITPULL. All right, you guys have a good night. Bye.